Hey everybody, how y'all doing? You ready for some more Suzerain? Last time I missed this little message nest store. Let's see what it is. Something about protests? Protests and occasional looting continues in the region of Nargis. The police reports that the violence has been minimized and the situation is mostly under control outside of the big cities. Estoril police force report that several militants have been hiding among the protesters and are being watched closely. I thought we took care of all the protests. I guess we still have a few stubborn ones going on. What going on here? Downtime at home. Last time we had some exciting adventures with our wives. Let's see how it is when we get back home. It felt like an eternity since the Ben 5 festival. Had it really only been less than 24 hours? I was at home now, drinking an afternoon coffee on my balcony. A stack of newspapers lay by my side. I picked them up one by one, reading and rereading the articles about the festival. Some of the newspapers were merciless against Monica for interrupting Curtin during his speech. A few even called for her to be barred from political matters. Others expressed their support. In any event, I was relieved that the incident hadn't reflected too badly on me. I was putting the last newspaper down as Monica joined me on the balcony. Listen, can we talk for a bit? Finally! Yeah, of course. What is it? Monica sat and picked up the nearest newspaper. She pointed to a particularly insulting headline on the front page. You better not ask me to go fix that. I don't run the newspapers. I never in a million years would have wished for this, Anton. I just wanted to thank you for supporting me and apologize for creating such a spectacle. All I wanted was to bring the people of Sordland together, the way you're able to, but not like this. Her eyes were getting moist. A single tear fell onto the newsprint. I'm going to wipe her tears away. There's a time to be like, muscle this out, soldier, and there's a time to give people hugs. I leaned forward and wiped her tears from her eyes. She clasped my hand to her face. Oh, Anton. Her eyes filled with gratitude. I could see she slept as little as I had since the festival. Wait! So she couldn't sleep because she felt guilty that she ruined things for me? What? Thank you. One more thing. You know how stubborn I am? Yeah, you're telling me. Perhaps the festival wasn't the proper forum to air my views on women's rights, but I still need to do this, Anton. Wait, you're saying I was right? I want to officially adopt this cause as First Lady, to actually get involved in politics, not just give impromptu speeches. I don't think that was a speech. I think you started an argument during a speech, but all right. I couldn't even help your education minister. I could even help your education minister with those reforms she's working on. I don't know if it's fair to Sierra to do this, because as much as Sierra pisses me off all the time, she's earned her job. It's not nepotism. I know this is something you're passionate about as well. Can I count on you? I don't know what to say. A part of me wants to say no, leaves politics to politicians. But she got a good response there, right? People were behind her at that speech. You know what? Okay, my love. I'm looking forward to working closer together. Don't fuck my shit up. Oh, Anton, this means so much to me. Monica hugged me tightly, and I felt some of the past day's tension melt away. Thank you. A noise came from the balcony door. We turned both of our heads to see Deanna standing there. Mama, I'm hungry. Let's go to the kitchen, Baggy. Baggy? What did I call her? Let's go to the kitchen, baby. We'll make Papa the best snack ever. Sweet. Yeah. They left the balcony and returned half an hour later with a large cookie. Deanna had written my name and icing on it. As I sipped my coffee and nibbled the cookie, I thought that I had made the right choice. Hell yeah, when you get a free cookie? Things are going to get harder, but at least my life at home was somewhat peaceful. Hey man, hopefully family's forever, you know? Like when we're done being president, hopefully we're still got our family. Oh man, there's 5 news articles I gotta read and updates? Shit. What are the updates? Budget allocation of Swordlish Armed Forces. An economic report. Let's look at that. The Ministry of Statistics, along with the Ministry of the Economy and the Central Bank, have delivered a preliminary economic status report detailing that the recession is ongoing. Yeah, like we already know that. And the system isn't likely to reach stability soon if we don't take serious steps. Minister Hull said the signs were negative. We've done a lot, but we, I guess, need to do more. Arcasian access to the Ullery base. Preparations began in Ullery Air Force Base to expand the hangars and restructure the security of the airbase in order to welcome Arcasian planes in the short future. Arcasian security and logistics professionals have already been welcomed to the base with Sordish officials. That's awesome. That's good news. So let's see. That was military budget allocation if we went there. This is a report about the presidential approval rating and discussing the formation of a new police force. Let's read the approval rating. Negative presidential approval rating. Ay, ay, ay. A new approval rating poll has shown that we have landed below a 25% presidential approval rating. Our administration's performance has been widely questioned by the diverse poll taken by 1,000 respondents from all regions of Sordland. I thought we were doing better than that. Oh, man. It's this damn recession. We got to get out of the recession. Let's see. Workers of the Crosswords, Malvanianism versus Arcasian capitalism. Our country's got to decide what we're going to embrace, I guess. We already know what we're pushing for. Skilled immigration, a catalyst for economic growth. The Economist wants us to bring in more foreigners who are skilled and to spend more on education and training programs, apparently. Lockhaven Times First Lady steps on up. The Benfai Festival is now in full motion, and the festival goers are enjoying the many attractions that are set up. However, this year's Benfai Festival started eventfully. Mayor Lesty's opening speech was interrupted by the First Lady Monica, who stood up to the remarks made by the mayor after he declared the festival activities perversions. The crowd absolutely loved the response from the First Lady, leaving the mayor embarrassed. That makes me feel even better about afterwards. Not even then supporting her, but supporting her since then. Edo's stability rocked by Quinal's potential departure. Rumblings from Quinal suggest an intention to abandon their Edo membership? That could be bad for Edo. Where is Quinal? We'll get back to the other things in a moment. There's the Republic of Quinal. They're thinking about maybe leaving Edo. And then what was the other one? Hidden costs of the CSP-funded revolutions. So the Continental Security Pact had been funding revolutions to try and make countries communist. Apparently, the reality often includes destabilization and significant setbacks in the national development. The resultant socio-economic upheaval and the potential erosion of political stability have led to scrutiny of the CSP's political model. Good. We're aligning with the West, not them. Our big problem, though, is if we only have 25% support, we got to do something about that. So what do? Discussion of the new police force or the military? All right, let's we're going to have to deal with Penis Head, but let's do the budget allocation. To determine the current situation in the military and its spending policy, we held a meeting in the White Room. Peter, Valken, and Iosif were seated. If I remember correctly, Valken, who is the chief of the armed forces, does not get along with Iosif, who is the Minister of Defense.
General Valken, Mr. Lancia, let us start with the briefing.
Very well, Mr. Vice President. We've prepared a briefing to convey further details about the current situation of our military.
First off, we've received an updated communication from the Arcasian Military Command. Their planes are being moved to Ullery Air Base as we speak. Under our supervision, of course.
Do your best to make them feel at home. They're our guests. Iosif and Velkin looked at each other.
We'll try our best.
Now let us move on to our military. Which branch would you like to know about?
I'm not interested in the details, but I should probably get them. What's the situation of the army?
According to our latest reports from Camp Strongarm, currently we field 6 armies, totaling up to approximately 400,000 active troops.
What? That's a massive military.
Which is a good amount. The real issue we're having is the quality, not the quantity.
Yeah, because we have the stupid draft going on. How about we cut down the amount of troops and quit drafting people? What is the current equipment status? I gave you guys a bigger budget. Have you been getting us modern equipment?
Our army is quite outdated by today's military standards. Most of the equipment is 2 decades old.
To make up for the lack of modern military equipment, we resort to a large number of soldiers, which is not really a long-term solution.
Yeah, I gave you guys a bigger budget. Go buy new weapons.
I've been trying hard to reduce the negative effects of this problem. We don't need a modernization program. A standardized purchase of lacking equipment would do. We need more funding towards the military side. Otherwise, our army would be seen as weak.
Don't say that, because you're going to make me agree with Penis Head. I don't wanna. Where exactly is our army deployed right now?
Our first army is stationed at the Lesbia and Wayland borders to protect the way into the central regions of Sordland.
Why Lesbia? Lesbia's our friend. Kinda. They're friends with Arcasia, we are. I mean, I get the Wayland thing because of stuff.
Our second army, the largest force, has been situated by the Rumberg border.
Alright, that makes sense.
This second army has a large mountain commando force, and it is most adequately equipped army to face Rumberg. The third army is near the Agnolian border in the coastal areas facing Vogsland. Due to our bitter past, our coastal defense force is always on alert. The decimation of our fleet is still not forgotten.
How do we compare to other armies?
Rumberg fields about 6 armies, amounting to 1 million soldiers.
Oh, not good.
Lesbia fields 5 armies, which amount to 800 soldiers, and Vogsland field 1 army, which is about 140,000 soldiers. Wayland field an army about 100,000 soldiers, and Agnolia fields 2 armies with a total of about 200,000 soldiers.
Well, we're trying to get an alliance with Agnolia.
The sheer size of Rumberg's army is because of their forced conscription laws. They are able to afford such a large force due to their massive gold reserves, which significantly came from Rizia over the past decades. On the other hand, the Lesbian army is the most advanced, followed by the Vogsland army. Both of those countries put lots of money into modernizing their military.
Alright, I'm curious about another branch.
Very well.
Let's talk about the Navy. In the Navy, you can sail the 7 seas. In the Navy, you can score points for me. I wonder if the new NCAA college football game's gonna be any good. Let's talk about the Navy.
Our Navy currently consists of 59 vessels with a total of 60,000 sailors and support staff.
What's our tonnage, though?
As you know, these ships are commanded from our main naval base in Conriat, where our flagship, the SN Renan, is docked.
How does our Navy compare to others?
Our Navy is dwarfed by the size of the Vogslandian Navy, which has 194 ships, and the Agnolian Navy, which has 81 ships. We surpass only Lesbia in terms of our Navy, as they have less than 30 ships. As you can see, the situation is dire, but the solution is just not more ships. To make our Navy truly better, we need to equip our ships with modern radar and sonar systems. More outdated ships wouldn't mean much.
I agree. I also don't think we're much of a naval power. Which seas does our Navy currently patrol?
We're patrolling the Marquinian Sea, the Grey Strait, and the Antician Sea. Our Navy protects all our coastal regions, however. To make sure we're not thinning out our defense, we prioritize regions over others, some of them like Greater Whole Sword. We often patrol the routes that they are close to the shipping lanes, got protective ships, especially the Marquinian Sea and the Grey Strait. The amount of cargo that goes through that area is eye-opening. It make my eye open.
Another thing to note is, after the takeover of Helgoland, where our Navy has led incursion operations to protect Agnolia, we also take part in some joint Navy drills as well.
Alright, let's hear about the other branch, which is going to be the Air Force.
Which one?
The Air Force. Tell me about it.
Our Air Force currently has 410 planes in the inventory, out of which only 140 are jet planes that are not in great condition. 30,000 pilots and support staff work in the Air Force, and they are commanded from the Mark Air Force Base in Erlery.
What are the operational capabilities of our Air Force?
Our planes can bomb targets within 400-kilometer radius of their airfield. They have medium-range and semi-effective nighttime bombing capabilities.
I guess the big question is, we probably aren't going to be able to modernize everything. It'll be interesting to see what decisions we get to make. Do we have to pick which branch to modernize or what to spend on? Or do all of them get some money?
At any time, we can field 7 air wings, composing of a total of 130 aircraft that can operate in combat duty. This is enough to subdue most targets. In terms of our bombing capability, we have an average of 100 meters of precision. This is not great, but it's still within the effective radius of the bombs.
How experienced are our pilots?
Our pilots have average experience. They have a total of 450 hours flight time with their craft before they are qualified. This gives them more than enough time to get used to it. This is low compared to the 1,000 or 1,500 hours in other countries like Arcadia, United Container, Lesbia, and even Volksland. Normally, the hours per pilot should be higher, but due to a lack of funding, we can't increase the training times. Fuel costs are rather high.
I can ask about the other branches? Don't I already know about all of them? Alright, let's just move on.
Let's.
He cleared his throat.
Thank you for keeping your promises. Know that I won't ever forget your great deed. Hopefully, the allocated money helps our defense needs.
You know what? Even though these guys annoy me, I'm gonna make some peace. It's a pleasure to work with you, Iosif and Velkin. You are true sons of Sordland who have served and continue to serve well.
Likewise, Mr. President.
It is important for us to have good relations with the military, even if some of them annoy me.
I salute you for this decision.
I knew I could trust you. Should we move on to spending choices?
Let's hear some suggestions, I reckon.
The increase of the military budget leaves us with big questions about how to utilize it. There was a lot of debate at the ministry, which resulted in 2 factions of thought. The first faction is in favor of enlarging the armed forces by enlisting more men, while the second faction is in favor of better military equipment instead.
There's no need to go into the details. I want the better equipment. The generals were waiting for the word.
And I hope the decision is in the interest of all.
We're not going to enlarge... I wouldn't want to enlarge the military anyway, but certainly not, because this draft has meant that our quality has gone down. People don't want to get drafted, but a more modern... Our equipment's terribly out of date. A more modern military is... And this is part of the reason I gave them more money. Will solve some of that problem. We may not need as many soldiers, and either way, we need better equipment. Purchase better equipment and begin a modernization program.
As you wish. But the decision will be a negative for our old doctrine.
Yes, let us leave the old doctrine in the past.
I am glad we made the right decision and choice on this. I'll make the necessary arrangements.
Iosif and Vulcan looked at each other.
That'll be all for today.
Good work, everybody.
I'd like to extend my thanks for your attendance.
The meeting was concluded as the sun set over the concrete jungle that was Wholesword. Hopefully there's some good results because of this. News? From the whole sword post, major military overhaul. People are noticing we're getting things done. Hopefully this helps our popularity, because this was the campaign promise. The Ministry of Defense has announced a new ambitious military modernization plan in order to solve the outdated equipment and other shortages in the armed forces. Defense Minister Iosif Lancia praised the administration for its resolve to form a force that can adapt to the challenges of a new age in warfare.
Our nearby enemies won't dare face the reformed military might of Sordland in the future,
said Lancia in a formal announcement. To meet the equipment and structural demands, the military-industrial complex and international arms contractors have been contacted. The General Staff made no comments regarding the changes. Sordland today, do you have something to say about that? Second Contana satellite in space. I think we already knew about that, didn't we? Yeah, because the communists, United Contana, is shooting these satellites up into space. Lockhaven Times, government backs rural development. We did that a while ago. Is the news just getting out to the people, though? I know we saw another article about it. In a significant move, the government has decided to back the Gruny Rural Development Investment Plan. This investment in our rural economies aims to bolster agricultural productivity and secure our food supplies. The cost of the investment is considerable. The potential benefits to our agrarian communities and national food security could well justify the expenditure. I hope it does, because we spent one government money on it. Massive protest against Governor Braun, the governor of Bergia. Uh-oh. An explosive wave of protests has swept through Bergia, with the people taking to the streets to demand an end to Governor Felix Braun's discriminatory policies against the Bluish community. This might be an opportunity for us to take away his special powers, because the people there are turning on him. The governor's decision to arbitrarily survey Bluish citizens under the guise of countering the BFF has created a culture of fear and intimidation in the community. The actions of Felix Braun betrayed a deep-seated prejudice and disregard for the rights, the human rights even, of the Bluish people. The government's policies have been nothing short of a witch hunt against the Bluish community. And the people are finally fed up with the oppressive structure of the special zone that exists in Bergia. Now, we gotta remember, this is from the Radical, but I think they're probably on point with this. They're demanding that their civil liberties and basic human rights be respected. It's time for the government to end their reign of terror against the Bluish people and start working to address the root causes of the unrest in the region. The special zone must be abolished, and the governor must be held accountable for his actions and removed from office if he cannot serve all citizens equally. I agree with the Radical. I don't know if we're going to have a way to do that. What else we got? So there's some changes here in policies. Oh, the modernization program has begun. A comprehensive modernization plan has strategically been devised to revitalize and upgrade the equipment used by the specific military branch. A specific military branch. This ambitious initiative, I didn't get to pick which branch, entails the integration of advanced technologies, the procurement of state-of-the-art weaponry, and the implementation of cutting-edge systems, thereby bolstering the military's combat capabilities and enabling it to adapt to emerging threats. We want that. Ooh, an adequate equipped military. Before, this was in the red because we had outdated equipment. We now have at least adequate military equipment. Hopefully that'll make Rumberg think twice about fucking with us. Either way, we're trying to bring our military into modern times, which is pretty cool. This has been a fun episode. We're probably running a little bit long, so I guess I'm going to head off. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.